very PC oriented. Our TV is very restricted. Like Australian TV just lets it fly.
Right.
You know, my
press everywhere.
Yeah, and like people have told me, oh, you got to come play Australia. You want to come play Australia? You know, and I got to perform down there because they would eat me up because I can just like say whatever I want and it's like not a problem. Whereas here, people are like, oh, he's offending me. You know, that doesn't exist. So like you may have come up here and it might be culture shock because American chicks aren't used to people who are more blunt, or as you call it. You know, so I think it's some of that.
I remember I was singing "Tie Me Kangaroo Down" Sport, and there's a line in there about "Set me elbows loose, Bruce, set me elbows loose. They're of no further use, Bruce, so set me elbows loose." Some people take offense to those lyrics, and I think it's just like the Lincoln Proclamation, like they're of no further use, so set me elbows loose, Bruce. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. It's pretty clear from the Torah, God does not like complainers. Like the Israelites are always whinging and complaining, and many of the women at my Asia Torah discussions were whinging and complaining, but like they're never going to get into the promised land with all this complaining. God does not like complainers, right, Rabbi?
Okay, let me ask you something, because my mind's set on it. How many other shuls have you been kicked out of?
Only 5.
Why did they kick you out? I'm turning the mic around now and asking you.
Well,
can you talk about
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The main reason is that I didn't complete my Orthodox conversion until last year. So I was this guy who was trying to like fit in with the Orthodox, and fit in with the shul, and yet I had all this mishigas on the side. So he's not a legitimate convert. Like he's not someone who really wants to join us. He pretends to, but look.
You're a poser.
Yeah, poser, and it's just too weird. So I didn't complete my Orthodox conversion until last year. So then I got kicked out of Asia Torah in 1998. It was primarily
98?
Yeah.
That long ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was writing on the porn industry.
What does they care about that?
They did.
I
was brought in by the Rav, and he brought out this folder, and he opened up the folder and said, "This is the Luke Ford file." And it had like all these posts that I've written on the internet, and so that was bad.
What's so bad about that?
Well, he gave me an ultimatum. He said it's tameh. You just can't have anything to do with it.
Oh, and every single person who attends Asia Torah is just holy, 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 and has no baggage in their closet. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing, my friends, that Asia Torah has perfect people going there? You know, God says that nobody's perfect, and yet Asia Torah found hundreds of members who are perfect and have no baggage, nothing tummy about them,
nothing
right?
Impure.
None of them watch TV. It's amazing. None of them. It's amazing. That's amazing. They actually kicked you out because you're involved in porn.
Well, I was writing about it. I wasn't making
What's the big fucking deal? I don't get it.
I did make one movie that was many years before. I never did it again. Once a philosopher, twice a pervert. So I wanted to direct one. I was not naked in it. But I wanted to direct one. I totally admit that was a big sin. But I directed it once. Twice you're a pervert. You just do something once, you're a philosopher. So I was writing on it, and I remember the rabbi said, well, that may be you're very academic, because I was writing a book on it for an academic press. And he said, that may be you're very academic, but we can't have that in our community. So
what do you mean we can't have that in our community? I don't understand this. But let me tell you about Asia Torah, okay? That Asia Torah is like they sugarcoat and water down Judaism to make it palatable for people they're trying to bring in. Right? They pervert Judaism, right? They tell people stories like, oh, it's possible that the universe is around more than 6,000 years, and then it's possible that dinosaurs once existed. And these are thoughts that go against Judaism. There's absolutely no room in Torah for the concept of dinosaurs, for the concept of a universe more than 6,000 years. But they're afraid to tell these to the newcomers because maybe the newcomers will get scared off and run away. So they have no problem perverting Judaism, right? And they do it a lot of different ways, too. I don't have time to go into it. but like their stance on Zionism is ridiculous. If you go to the Aish.com, you'll see like, oh, we celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut, right? I know somebody who goes to Asia Torah in Jerusalem. They do not celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut. It's bullshit. They put it on there because they want like the newcomer who's like surfing the web to see that and go, oh, they're like pro-Israel and they're pro-Zionist. Well, I'll come and check out their party and I'll meet a girl. So they have no problem lying, sugarcoating, watering down Judaism, perverting Judaism, right? But God forbid that somebody should come up who they consider a perversion to the community. You know what? Asia Torah can be accused of being a perversion to the community, and you can quote me on that.
Well, the rabbi said, we're already controversial enough. We don't need you.
Who's that?
The rabbi at Asia Torah, Hcom. He said, we're already very controversial. We're always getting a say.
The rabbi over at Yish. Yeah.
So we're always getting, criticized and assailed because of things like you're saying, because they hold banquets for intermarried and honor intermarried Jews, like
oh my God.
Larry King and Steven Spielberg.
Oh my God.
Like things like that. And he says, we're already controversial enough. You're very controversial. It's not a criticism, but you're very controversial, and we really don't need that. And then I got kicked out of Young Israel Century City for the same reason.
I don't get it. What is everybody's like? I don't get it.
It just freaked him out. And then I quit writing on the porn industry. But
I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
So then I was going to Bet Jacob, and they kicked me out because even though I wasn't writing on the porn industry anymore, they still find my blogs offensive. And then I got kicked out of Chabad-based Bezalel.
You got kicked out by Lisbon?
It wasn't Lisbon, but I was davening there one Shabbos morning, and these 4 guys waved me outside, and they said, "This clearly is not the place you should pray."
Is it because you weren't officially Jewish?
Yeah, I wasn't officially Jewish yet.
Or is this because of the?
I wasn't writing on the porn industry then. But
so it was effective.
They just didn't want to be bothered by me. They just didn't want anything.
Because that seemed like okay, I don't know.
I'm not judging them for it. I'm not saying they were wrong. I'm just describing what happened. And then finally, I got kicked out of B'nai David because, the rabbi, I was just too controversial a blogger. People just didn't want the service. How can you allow this guy to daven there? He says outrageous things on his blog. So now I think I could go back into.
Thanks for answering that question.
I think I could get back into all those shuls, except maybe Asia Torah.
Why would you want to?
Because I have completed my Orthodox Conversion with the Los Angeles Beit Din. I like people there. I don't blame. I understand where they were coming from. I mean, it was very emotionally painful for me, so emotionally I really hated it, but I'm not going to say they were wrong. I prefer not to judge. I am better at just describing things.
Right. So because it was
when I start judging, I sound like a total kook. So
okay, let me tell you, if it were me,
mm-hmm.
and there was a shul or some people that said, hey, we don't want you here, right? They don't want me there while I'm a non-Jew. You know what? I'm not going to come back there when I'm a Jew. That's how I am. You didn't like me then? Fuck you now. That's how I would be. That's the Reamer attitude, right? That's
the Jewish attitude.
Oh, is it really?
That is the Jewish attitude.
Oh, is it really?
You're going to throw me out, I'll throw you out. No Jew would stand for what I stood for.
Right.
But that's because I got this passive Goyish and Protestant background that I get, oh, okay.
No, that's how I am. It's
that's how every Jew is.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the Jewish attitude. Could you imagine how a Jew would react to being thrown out of a shul? It's I throw you out.
You throw a shul at me. You throw me out of shul. Fine, I have no problem. You know what? Don't come to my door and beg for money.
Yeah.
Don't call. Please don't send mail to my mailbox asking for donations. Right? If you continue to do so, I will notify authorities to have you stopped and notified that you're harassing me. And I'll put together a harassment suit. I don't want you to have any involvement with me, and stop bothering me.
Yeah.
Right? And that's my attitude. That's how it would be. And I've actually been in a situation like that.
Go ahead.
I had a terrible experience when I was living in the state of Israel.
Yeah.
I hated it there, right?
Yeah.
I hated it there. And you know what? I'm done with the state of Israel. I left. I'm never stepping foot in there again, and I'm fine with that. And it's you have your country, and I live here, right? right?